right, you guys, one of my favorite things to do is introduce you to members of CoastTV,
Yes.
because we have a lot.
We do, and we have a lot of new faces on CoastTV.
We have a lot of new reporters, producers. Have you heard of our new meteorologist? Ooh, though it's okay if you haven't. He's in studio today. Chris Mastrobuono's in the house. Chris, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course, we're excited to chat.
Yeah. So he may look familiar. You may have seen him on CoastTV News Today, the weekends. Have you kind of just been all over?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know which day it is. You know?
Yep. Join the club.
It'll do that to you.
Normally on the weekend, but you know, I have to fill in for Paul and Bob all the time. So
That's right. The face you'll be familiar with.
Yes. Yeah. Well, of course, we're happy to have you on CoastLife. But first, let people know who you are. Where are you from? Where did you go to school? What do you want the people to know about you?
Well, you know, I'm from the area pretty much. Not exactly Delaware per se, but the Philadelphia area. Born and raised there. Actually lived in northern Delaware, Bear, Delaware, actually, in the early 90s, like before everything kind of started developing. Went to McCullough, which is like right off the Delaware Memorial Bridge, Calvin McCullough. Went to school there for a little bit, but then moved to Philly. Went to Catholic school, high school in Jersey. So generally in the Philly, South Jersey area. So familiar with the area, familiar with the landscape, you know, the weather. But it's you know, it's great to be part of the team here, and glad to be on board. When
did you know in your life that you wanted to get into meteorology? Were you like, oh, weather is pretty cool?
Probably when I was, I would say 3-4 years old.
Gosh.
You know, growing up in Philly, you know, I would watch the weather a lot growing up, and then, you know, I would do the weather, you know, like on my grandmother's wall a lot, you know. So I just, something I've always had passion for, and, you know, love nor'easters, love snow. It's kind of really gets me going, you know, of all the weather. But yeah, just from a young age, it's just always something I was passionate about. Kind of had a unconventional path as far as like school goes. You know, withdrew from school for a while and then went back to school. But you know, kind of took me a little longer than I guess planned. But you know, I just always had that goal, and you know, got a job in Indiana for 3 years doing weekend and then morning weather. And then you know, the pandemic hit, so there's kind of a little bit of a weird stretch there. But you know, just. It's always been a passion of mine.
What about hurricane season? We heard this one's going to be a bit of a crazy one. We're in it right now, technically.
We're actually getting into the peak now.
Yeah.
So you know,
out.
the forecast coming in this year was well above average. You know, major hurricanes, Category 3 or higher. Predicted about 5 to 7 major hurricanes. Now, we've been in a little bit of a lull here the past couple of weeks. You know, after we had Ernesto, which pretty much gave us a lot of like rip currents and some beach erosion. But for the next couple weeks, things are expected to ramp up a bit. So just have to monitor it, you know.
Prep a little.
Yeah, just kind of keep your guard up. If you're doing any travel down the Caribbean, I know you have big plans over the next month. But you know, just you know, keep a close eye on it.
How annoying does it get when people ask you to predict the future? Because I know, listen, I'm one of those people. We
did it earlier.
Yeah. Or, well, I guess just to say, what's more annoying, when people ask you to predict the future, or when people get mad at you when there's bad weather?
Yeah, it's
or the equally annoying.
Yeah, equally annoying, and you know, people make a big deal about it, you know. But you know, I think there's a lot of people in this area, so it's important to get the weather right.
All right. Well, yes, we'll be nice to your meteorologists and be understanding that they don't control the weather; they just tell you it. But Chris, thank you so much for coming on CoastLife today. We love talking to you and picking your brain about all the smart weather stuff.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, definitely have him back. If you guys have any weather questions, we love to hear them. We'll ask him. We'll ask Paul, Bob, whoever's around that we can grab and pull up to the CoastLife studio. But yeah, make sure you say hi to Chris if you see him around, and he'll be with the CoastTV team for forever. For a while. All right. We got more CoastLife to get to, guys. Chris, thanks again, and we'll see you guys in just a bit.